That's good.
Do you want to review the list I gave you?
Have it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Whenever you're ready, Amber. All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Sunbury Council meeting. It is It is October 2nd, 2024, 7:30 p.m. Before I ask you to join me in a moment of silent prayer and pledge of allegiance, I did want to acknowledge the passing of one of our former council members and just an upstanding citizen. Dan Shaw passed away recently. Longtime council member, longtime Planning and Zoning Commission member. He was actually one of the founding members of the Tree Commission and was instrumental in getting the Fallen Heroes to be developed in the city of Sunbury. So I remember the first time I met Dan, it was my first Tree Commission meeting, and it was myself and Dan and Aaron Noblet and Alan Rothermel. That's who was in the room. So we were talking about trees and how to preserve trees, and Dan was just a spark plug. So the thoughts and prayers are with his family. Please join me in a moment of silent prayer. Thank you. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor St. John.
Here.
Mr. Apple.
Here.
Mr. Ayer. Here. Mr. Neff. Absent. Mr. Grumney.
Here.
Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mrs. Cooper. Here. Is present.
The first item on the agenda is a public hearing. This is for SGB Fund 1 LLC. It's a rezoning. The order of operations for the public hearing will be, we will swear in any particular folks from the public or the applicant themselves that would like to speak on or behalf of the particular project. Mr. Whitney will also enter exhibits. Then we will have the applicant presentation, the public participation, and any council comments or questions or discussion. With that said, Mr. Whitney, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening. My name is Vic Whitney. I am counsel this evening for Sunbury Council. As the mayor indicated, the first item on the agenda is this public hearing on the rezoning application of SGB Fund 1 LLC. So in a moment, we will have anyone that thinks they want to testify and offer any comment on the application to rezone to stand up, and we'll swear you in. As the mayor indicated, this is a public hearing. There's a stenographer here who is taking diligently down all the things that are said. So if you think you might testify and give testimony, we will have you stand at that time and be sworn in. That doesn't mean you have to necessarily come up and give testimony. You can later refuse or decide not to, but if you are, we do need you to swear in. So in a moment, we'll have you stand and we will swear you in if you may provide testimony. The mayor will call in turn the applicant and then others who may want to give testimony up to the lectern. When he calls you up, if you are giving testimony, please walk up and speak clearly into the microphone. Like I said, the stenographer is taking everything down. The council may ask you questions. If they do, make sure you wait to begin responding. Hopefully, that's kind of interesting. Make sure you wait to hear their entire question or comment and don't speak over them, because again, it's much easier for the stenographer to take down one person speaking at a time. Give your name clearly and your address before providing testimony. So if we need to get a hold of you later, we can do that. And please direct all your comments or questions or whatever your statements you're making to the council and not to anybody else in the gallery that may be commenting or anything like that. So with that said, anyone that thinks they may provide testimony on this application for rezoning, if you would stand right now and raise your right hand, and we'll have the stenographer swear us all in.
Okay, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you present will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I do. And finally, Your Honor, as you are mayor, as you indicated, I do have exhibits marked here. I have Exhibit A, which is a 7-page document, which includes the rezoning application and documents submitted by the applicant, including their rezoning statement, their plans that were submitted with that, the legal description of the subject property. Marked as Exhibit B is the public notice that was noticed and put forth for this hearing tonight, and the mailing and proof of mailing to the affected property owners. It's a 4-page document marked as Exhibit B. And finally, Exhibit C is a 2-page document, which is the staff report that was prepared and submitted to council in this matter. So with that, I would move to admit the exhibits.
Accept, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and introduce the applicant. Applicants, please come forward, introduce yourselves, state your name and address. Thank you.
Name's David Dix, representing the applicant. Address is 2106 Rickover Place. That's Winter Garden, Florida, 34787. Good evening, council and staff. David Dix, representing the applicant. I'm here with my partner Jeff Tyerman. We're here before you to respectfully request rezoning of approximately 300 acres located on the south side of Vans Valley Road. Proposed to rezone the property from A1 agriculture to limited industrial district. And other than that, we're just here we're available to answer any questions that staff may have. So.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, we'll go ahead and open it up to the public. Public participation. Would anybody from the public like to speak? Come on up. Please introduce yourself. Name and address. Thank you.
Greg Well, property owner 12414 Vans Valley Road. And we're pretty development friendly, I think, but when it's your parcel is contiguous, you know, you got to think about that a little bit. And things tend to creep up pretty quick, although I'm sure the developer thinks it's moving slowly. But we'd like to have a little more conversation with them, I think, here shortly, and just, you know, think about how our parcel fits in this or outside this. And, you know, we've got a neighboring property owner as well we haven't talked to yet. And, you know, some time to accomplish that, I think, would help us. So if we could pause or table for a moment, we certainly would like to have a little more conversation on that. So thank you.
Mr. Well, thank you. All right, it's council questions, discussion, comment, anything for the public hearing? All right, I will go ahead and close the public hearing. Thank you. All right, we have minutes to approve from the September 18th meeting of 2024. Looking for a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mrs. Cooper. I'll make that second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper? Yes. Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
Ms. Strayer? Yes. Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
6 yeas?
All right, we are under the visitor section. We have one scheduled visitor. Very excited to introduce the scheduled visitor, but I'm also excited if anybody wants to speak after the director. Come on up, Delaware County Transit, Mr. Volnick.
Hello, everyone. For the record, officially, Andy Volnick, Executive Director for Delaware County Transit, 119 Henderson Court, Delaware, Ohio, 43015. Mayor, council members, it is so good to see you again. It feels like I only come here when it's dark, by the way, right? I couldn't pick a summer month when the sun might still be out. But I'm here today to update you all on what we promised you back in, it was late spring, or no, it was early spring, excuse me, for the microtransit service that we are looking to provide here for the city of Sunbury and portions of Galena. And now I got a little flack for this. Is it Berkshire or Berkshire Township? I think it's Berkshire.
Yeah,
Right. See, that's
a while. It's Berkshire. If you're just moving
Thank
in, you
you.
call it Berkshire.
Thank you. Berkshire then. So I got it right. And I'll tell a friend that. But we're excited to share with you about the update for the service. We promised that we would be delivering the service, and we are going to deliver on that promise here. I'll hold the lead for that. For everybody in the room that's unaware of Delaware County Transit, we are the de facto transit agency for Delaware County. So yes, in fact, Delaware has transit. We just look a lot different than transit throughout the region, if not the just the immediate area. So we do a lot of what's called microtransit, single trips, point A to point B, curb to curb. We're structured with 7 board members that are selected by the Delaware County Commissioners. There's the listing of them, and our chair is Farzan Ahmed. And you can see DCT by the numbers. If anybody remembers our staffing numbers, we have increased our staff by quite a bit, notably to take care of this area and the evening service we're now performing in the city of Delaware. We have 71 staff members, 46 of those are drivers, 30 vehicles. We're actually getting new ones, and I'm going to highlight that here this evening too. Our operating budget is currently $5.1 million, and our facility is located in the southwest quadrant of the city of Delaware. So DCT is carved up into 2 styles of service, both what we would call on-demand service. One is flex or microtransit, that's same day public service, Uber, quick trips, small geographic area, $2 one way or $1 for elderly, disabled, and youth. And then we have our countywide service, which we call demand response. That's the more typical rural style transit. You call ahead, longer trips, typically for medical reasons, a lot of subsidies to help people get on those vehicles to the necessary services that they need to get to. And it's fair. What you pay at the fare box is more, and it's on a mileage-based system. And you can see that for yourself. Today, the city of Sunbury has demand response. All of Delaware County has demand response. But as you can kind of figure out, calling a day ahead, trying to figure out where you're going to go, paying $8, $17, or $29 is prohibitive. People don't want to pay that. Why would you, right? But that's what you have today. So flex. So we have to share kind of the history of flex, right? That's our name for it. Again, the industry term is microtransit. And you can see these numbers here. This is what we've done this year. We started this in 2020 out of the pandemic. If you recall kind of that history I provided, in 2020, the FTA came out and limited the amount of people we could have on our vehicles. And we said, well, what do we do? How do we respond and still provide our service? So we flipped our operating model on its head, and we now provide this type of service. And our numbers are just through the roof. Every month we're breaking ridership records. This past this past August was our single highest month ever on record. 13,807 trips. This past September, we just did 13,000 additional trips. That's the first time we've ever done those types of numbers. So people are using this. We're seeing our service continue to grow. But part of the challenge is we've always taken care of the state of Delaware. I live in the state of Delaware. I know we're in different territory. My daughter is in the back. She has a Pacer shirt on. Right? I'm a proud city of Delaware dad. We got to expand. We're Delaware County Transit. We're not Delaware City Transit. And again, if you'll recall, and for those that are unaware, we launched our strategic plan at the end of 23, and it was fully adopted here in March of this year. And one of the first items was expand your service into the evening and weekends in the city of Delaware and add your service in another community. One of the communities we immediately focused on was Sunbury. And that's what we are looking to talk about a little bit more today. So here we got to brag on ourselves, right? So we keep breaking our records. You can see all these numbers. To just put this in context, when we started this service in 2020, if we did 5,000 in a month, we had a freak out. We were all really excited about it. And so to do 3 times that type of service, or excuse me, almost 3 times in a month in just a few years for a public agency, that's really, really great. And we keep breaking it. We're anticipating October to be our single highest ridership month ever with the way that this is going. So next stop is Flex here in Sunbury. So you'll see here. So again, you currently have the demand response. That'll always be the backbone of our service. That is kind of our old faithful service, right? You'll always have that. But what you're going to get is you're going to have Flex. You're going to have same day service. There's an app, the Delaware County Transit app. I would encourage everybody in this room, if you're interested, download it, set up an account. You'll be able to schedule your trip on the app. Of course, you can always call us if you don't want to use an app. And this is the geographic area. Forgive me, this map's a little bit hard to see with that green there, but this is roughly the geographic area. There's a portion there in the kind of the northwest sector. We're going to grab a little bit farther north because of development in that area. This is the city of Sunbury's limits. We go all the way to the east, all the way to the west, north to the high school, and south down into northern Galena, or a portion of the communities of Galena, I believe is the name of that subdivision. Anybody in this, if you're in here and you have the app and you, let's say you're here in the downtown, the town hall, and you want to go to Tanger, you can get there for $2. And it'll show up within 10 minutes. That's typically what our averages are. And we'll get you there and you schedule your trip on the return trip back and come back home. So it's really nice. And for students, it'll be $1. So we're seeing 15% of our ridership is students, right, in the city of Delaware. So we're seeing that. Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's our core operating hours. That's what we've historically always done. That's what we're going to launch here. And then, of course, we highlight some of the areas of interest. And one of the other exciting features I highlighted in my talk that we were getting new vehicles, and we want to show those vehicles off here in the city of Sunbury. So you're actually going to get the first style of our what they call transit vans or transit buses. So on the left of this image here is our current vehicle. It sits 14 passengers, larger vehicle. They're really great vehicles. But as we move into smaller communities with smaller streets or smaller thoroughfares, we need to have vehicles that meet the moment. And also, you know, we're doing a lot of single trips. I don't need 14 seats for 2 people, right? It's just a lot of wasted space. Plus, those vehicles are more expensive. So through a grant with ODOT, we were able to purchase 8 new vehicles. And this is the style that will be in your community come October 14th. That's when we're launching that service. So just, gosh, what's today? October 2nd? So 12 more days, we're launching this new service. You'll have 4 of these vehicles running around here in this area, servicing your community, getting people to jobs, to medical appointments, to shopping, to and from school or extracurricular activities, for social visits. We have people in the city of Delaware that use it for play dates. They'll go to a friend's house, they'll go for a play date. As we've expanded into the evening service, we have people using it to go to the gym. Like, we see these things happening. People use it for real life. But I'm really excited about these vehicles. They look really good.
Can I ask you a question about those vehicles? Are they
Please.
hybrid?
No, they're gas, or yeah, they're gasoline.
I'm
Yeah.
just curious.
Yeah, good question. So forgive me. Yeah, part of the vehicle infrastructure is for us to take on anything that would have such technology. We don't have that facility on site. It's better for us to use the existing infrastructure of gas and other such means. Yeah, great question. With that, we are so excited. I've been talking about this, it feels like a while, right? And we cannot wait to serve this community. It's a growing community. I have to give your city administrator, he was one of our chief advocates. Your Chamber of Commerce Executive Director, Nancy Crawford, was on our steering committee. We really see this community becoming a legacy community like the city of Delaware has been for us. The goal is to do this in perpetuity. The goal is to do this for, I have 16 more years before I can retire, to at least make it that one. This community deserves good options. Mobility provides freedom. Accessibility provides freedom. Those are things that are easy for us that are ambulatory or have the means to do it to take for granted. I was able to share at Berkshire Township this plan. You'll forgive me if I get a little choked up because this is a really powerful story on what this provides. I went to present our strategic plan, and it was almost like I had a plant in the audience. One of our passengers who was new to me stood up at the end and said, "My husband has Alzheimer's. He's a veteran, and I was spending a lot of money. I will not disclose how much, but far too much for transportation and adult daycare. And by using Delaware County Transit, she was able to save money, get him into Willowbrook, and they cut her costs, I kid you not, like 80%, being able to use our service. That's what it means. And if we can do that for all of our vets and all those that have neurodivergence issues or cognitive decline, at the base, that's what we do. But at our max, it's letting parents work and not have to worry about kids' transportation. At our max, it's getting people to jobs reliably. At our max, it's being able to go to Tanger and not have to fight for parking and drop you off wherever we decide, or wherever you decide, really. That's what this is about. And so we are honored and humbled to be able to serve this community, and I'm open to any questions, comments, or concerns.
It's our honor to have you. Opening up to questions. comments.
I don't have a question. I just think it's an amazing program. I'm so glad that you chose Sunbury as a growth opportunity. So thank you for that. And I may have said this the last time, my only concern for you guys is just marketing. I feel like it's such a great program, but I feel like if I go and tell people, did you know this is available? The answer is probably going to be, for some, no. And so I'm just thinking in my mind, how can we in Sunbury make it more known? And I don't know, Daryl, if it's in the Welcome to Sunbury packet, as far as if it's not, could we add it to really educate people in the city this is a service? Because the examples you gave, and there's probably thousands more like that just aren't shared. And okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And not to toot my own horn, but I was on NBC4. I don't know what else I could do to market that. I'm just giving you.
I wasn't meant to be critical. I just.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But alas, we agree. But part of actually our best marketing is when our vehicles are in the community, right? When people in the city of Delaware go, oh, I saw one of your vehicles and the phone number along it, and I called you, and now I know. It sounds kind of silly, but our best marketing is getting into a community and then starting to establish it. But I agree with you. We're actually going to be hitting the ground here. My team has already got all their pamphlets printed out, and over the next 10 days, they're going to be hitting the Village Square, hitting all of these areas, trying to get out to the businesses, trying to get out to Tanger, and starting to market it and really put the word out that this is coming. Where to, it'll take a little bit for people to become familiar.
Community events like, 4th of July or, be in the parade, what have you, or, Christmas on the Square or flea markets, whatever. He's like middle 10 or something, but I volunteer Molly to man.
Well, again, it's a privilege to serve. I've been a public servant my entire career. It is a privilege to do this. And so I agree. So we don't just stop on the 14th, right? We keep coming back to the well saying, where can we get better? Where do you need us? What are opportunities to grow it? Because this community is growing and we need to match that moment with you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yes, I wanted to say thank you for coming to the city council, and I also heard you speak at the chamber, so I really appreciate that. We are often the folks that get asked questions, so it's helpful to have the answers ahead of time, so I appreciate that. And also, you've said multiple times youth and students, so I was just curious, do you have a minimum age requirement?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, I just shot off an email about that. Currently, we do not. And I'll give you some background on that because that's not my favorite answer, first and foremost. Some years ago, so I started in this role in October of 22. So some years prior to my role or my coming into the role, the previous Delaware County Prosecutor's Office or people in that area said that we could not have an age limit. That it was potentially discriminatory or it could lead that way. Here's what I will give you is we are working on revising that policy and actually adding an age minimum requirement. Many transit agencies across the region, state, and country have age minimums. So I think it's a little bit lapse of understanding some FTA guidance and rulings, but currently we do not have an age limit. We will say though that we do not just let somebody throw a toddler on a bus and we drive away, right? So we are prudent, we are intentional, we make certain that parents are aware and parents are riding, and we enforce that to the best of our human ability.
Okay.
Yeah, great question. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Is your title director, executive director, or supreme director?
Humble servant, sir. Humble servant.
You're great. We love your energy. We're so excited
Thank you, Mayor.
you're here. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thanks for coming.
All right. Are there any unscheduled visitors? All right. Thank you. We're on the committee reports. Ms. Dreher?
I do have one, the Delaware County Regional Planning Commission. And this just a couple things that you might want to write this down. They do have a website, publicinput.com/Sunbury Parkway. ODOT has put this together along, they want Delaware County, Berkshire, and Berlin Townships and the city of Sunbury. They want us to naturally be updated on everything that's going on out there at State Route 37, US 36, and I-71. And they're also taking input, the public input. So you can get onto that website and you need to click on the comment here and put in your your information, what you see fit about that intersection. You can do that through October 30th. And they want to, they might make adjustments according to the public comments. They'll do some reevaluations and they will continue to give project overviews. The other item that I thought was close to us, in Harlem Township, Bandit Properties is requesting a rezoning of 6.7 acres from FR1 to PCD. And they want to put a storage warehouse business there. It's off of Fancher Road. It consists of two 40-foot freight containers, 25 gravel parking spaces, 46,000 square foot outdoor storage space, a 4,000 square foot building, a 4,000 square foot fuel and chemical storage building, 6 full-time employees. It is surrounded by the Maple Grove Cemetery on one side, a trucking business on the other side, and some single-family homes on the other side. And one single-family home, which is owned by Bandit Properties, the owner. And this is going to, they do have a conditional approval based on an on-site wastewater treatment system proposed, a drainage plan that they need to come up with, and zoning compliance and a new lighting plan. So all that's going to happen in the closest township near us, which is Harlem. So if anybody wants the website for the regional planning, what's going on in public input for 36, 37, 71, and I-71, I would encourage it. That's it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Grumney. You want to go?
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Mr. Capel.
Okay, yeah, I'll be happy to. So we had our services committee meeting prior to this evening. We spent the majority of the time talking about the 2025 street improvement program, that time of year again, and the deadline for OPWC applications is coming upon us. So Carla presented a very thorough presentation on the condition of the roads that we have and projected out what CT had recommended we take care of. She had presented some alternate ideas as well, as far as maybe setting aside some of these roads to do a more comprehensive project, particularly with Columbus Street. But long story short, we're going to need a little bit more time to kind of circle around the plan for exactly what roads we're going to do and what kind of budget goes along with that. We're starting on a bit of a bigger scale than we have in previous years. We're looking at $1 million budget from the city to try to get about a $300 grant from OPWC and a $100,000 loan. So this is going to be one of the more ambitious applications we've put out there in the past. Then Jake Stockmaster talked about snow and ice removal. The big takeaway there is that with the team he's got, with the equipment that he's got, we have all the coverage that we need for the city right now, including potentially adding on rolling hills depending on when we take responsibility for those streets. But looking at future growth, we may need to expand on both staffing and equipment in the near future, and we do have budget for that in the next year. And then the last big point was a bit of a celebration, I think, is there are trees down in Sudbury Estates. So they've yanked out 35 trees, I think you said, Daryl, and repaired the concrete, the sidewalks in those areas. So trees yet to be planted this year, but made a lot of progress on that. That's all I've got.
Great. Just one amendment for those listening at home. That's a $300,000 grant.
What did I say?
300.
$300?
Yes. Going for the big ones.
Yeah.
Good deal. Thank you, Mr. Capel. Great update. Mrs. Cooper?
Yep, we had a Parks and Rec meeting earlier this evening, and we primarily talked about Christmas on the Square, which will be in our new business. So if there's any questions, Mrs. Crawford will come up later, but we can talk about that later. And then Alyssa also provided a parks map in the city of Sunbury. We hadn't had a map where you could just go and look at the map and see where all of the parks are. So that was really great. I'm grateful for that. And then that also kind of led to a discussion about, do all of these parks have signage? Because I walked through Old Orchard Park today and I didn't see any signs. You wouldn't know what that park was if you were just walking through. So that was about it for that meeting.
Okay, that's a good meeting then.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, we are on to the police report. Chief Howard.
Thank you. Hopefully, this will be about the last council meeting, we talk about the new building.
I didn't know where you were going with that.
We had an email today, Daryl doesn't even know this yet, from Columbia Gas, they ordered our equipment today. So I think we're 2 to 3 weeks out for the new regulator and that's regulator and meter, I believe. So they told me that's on the way. All our keys are installed, and you guys are installed as well. We'll spend a lot of time on this. Community engagements. We went today to the Inn at Walnut Trail. And we had a wonderful time. So if any of you get a chance to stop out and talk to some of them people, it would be worth 20 minutes to just sit down and talk with them. Every year we go out there, we talk to the ones that we've met in the past and we meet new ones. And just to say there's some interesting people out there and we thoroughly enjoyed today. The street radar signs have been put over on Sunbury Meadows.
Could you pull the microphone down in front of you, please? Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. The street radar sign, that information, was gonna try and have that for tonight, but there was the delay in one of the signs. So I will have that for you at the next meeting to see how the combing is working in that area. But just the observation, it looks like it's gonna work a little better than what was there before, so.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it works. I don't need to look at the speedometer.
Yeah.
Like I know the cars are driving slower and I'm definitely driving slower on there.
Same.
Yes, it definitely made a difference.
Great.
So,
Good deal. Can't wait to see the data though.
unless anybody has any questions on the report, that's about all I have.
I have a question, putting you on the spot. When's your grand opening, Chief?
Well, we did get a roof leak fixed. Patch,
I asked you when your grand opening
well,
is.
you couldn't have people come in the rain and wade through water. We would like to get that done probably in the next couple weeks. We'll get something out with that. There was a couple issues that I've spoke to Daryl about that we wanted to get done before we had that, but that's not gonna happen, so we'll get that scheduled.
Let's make it a big deal.
All right, I was gonna say, and we'll be there to support the police department. So yeah, we'll find a date and the city staff will help coordinate that and get.
I'm not trying to rush you guys. I'm excited. I want it to be ready. I want you guys to be comfortable and in your spaces.
We're excited as well. It's
an awesome building.
you guys don't know how much you guys have done to get us in there from what we had to where we're at now. It's like different world. So thank you all.
Thank you. Any comments, questions for Chief Howard?
I have a question. I was just curious. Has there ever been any talk about initiatives for community engagement coffee with a cop beyond the Inn at Walnut Trail? Like coffee with a cop? Another event that's not specifically of there. Have you guys ever talked about that?
No.
Okay, I was just curious.
I mean, I'm sure they'll drink coffee.
Yeah.
Have anybody in mind?
No,
did talk
I was
to him
just
today
curious.
about-
I've heard, it's just a catchphrase that I've heard, coffee with a cop.
Yeah.
So I was just curious if that has happened or.
They did ask us about setting up more events and coming back more than once a year, and we told them if they schedule it, we'll be there, so.
I was reading your report and I can tell by your report that the folks that they're very interesting who you
Yes.
met and the lives they've lived. So I'm sure it's
Yeah, we go in there planning on
to go.
spending 30 minutes and, having some coffee and I guess eating some donuts too, but we usually today was almost 2 hours.
So, but it was very, very interesting.
Got some interesting ideas. All right, first one, coffee with cop at Firehouse Tavern at 11 p.m. My next one, even better. Coffee with cop during Taekwondo class at Barry's building with all the kids. That would be fun.
That would be cool. I thought you were gonna say coffee with a cup going 60 miles an hour on Cherry Street.
That is,
You probably need a cup real quick.
that's right. All right,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're on to Mr. Hennessy, Administrator Report.
All right, so just a couple of points from that are in your packet. The updated zoning report is in there for September of 2024. Not surprisingly, we continue to issue new building permits, new construction building permits at a record pace. We're up a little over 22% over the same time last year. We're just 8 shy of the total for 2023. And again, as we've talked about many times, I mean, 2023 was a record year for us. So, I mean, we know there's a lot of growth going on. These properties are going up quickly. And, you know, that's just at least one data point to again, give you a sense of the pace at which that's happening. I've also included in the packet the 2024 leaf pickup season schedule. So packet page 37 is the schedule itself. It'll begin next week. So a lot of residents are interested in the service. Our service team will be out there based upon that schedule. What I do want to note is that what will happen is they do, if they've gotten into a zone and they've completed the zone and there's still time left in the day, they will advance to the next zone. And a lot of times people feel like, oh, I wasn't ready for them. But I can assure you every day on the schedule in which the zone is indicated, they will be in that zone. So while they may have gotten there early, they will come back to make sure that everything is covered. So if you get that question, just let folks know that. And the final thing I'll mention is we've talked a little bit about the Sunbury Mills emergency generator. This is for the lift station over there. It has been a long time coming, but it is in place, ready to go, fully tested. And this is a big deal to Dale and the wastewater team. So that's it, unless anybody's got any
That's
questions.
awesome. I remember, I just had a flashback. Does anybody remember a guy named Greg Elliott? He was like a one-year councilman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big focus for him at the time.
Well, there you go.
Hey, why don't we have a backup generator? Why is Dale out in the rainstorm?
Yeah. But we still have backup generators to get for some of our other pump stations, but this has been a source of concern for a while. So we're happy to have that in place.
Great work. Any comments or questions for Mr. Hennessy?
Where is that located, that generator?
I'll send you a map of the location of that. It's a little hard to define. I mean,
I've been notified by
I guess I
Mr.
should say.
Jameson. He has problems with the lift station behind his house.
and I
He's
don't
on
know.
Cheshire.
Yeah, that's a different pump station. So that's well, I mean, that's a pump station we've talked a lot about with this group in terms of needing an upgrade. So, and that's on the plans are to ultimately improve that pump station as well. But this is a different one. I'll send you the map with the specific location, just so you know where it is.
Anything else? All right. Hello, Carla. It's Odebrowski.
Good evening. I only have a brief update on the wastewater treatment plant expansion. I've been including in my update some of the dates and when you can anticipate seeing some of the first readings necessary for the legislation. The construction contract and construction inspection contract, I've now put a tentative date on there for the first meeting in November. That's been delayed due to the construction bid opening being pushed out another 3 weeks in order to try and get competitive bidding on that expansion project. And then Mr. Capel did a great job summarizing the street improvement roads for next year. So I'll take any questions.
I'm curious if you have received any feedback from the residents in the communities regarding the new striping on Sunbury Meadows. I know we're waiting the data, but I was just curious. I've reached out to a few folks. I was just very curious if you guys have received any feedback. from residents?
I have not heard from anybody directly, but I'm not sure if maybe.
I was just
Yeah, I was
curious.
gonna say, I've not gotten any additional feedback other than the conversation you and I had had
Okay.
regarding that one resident's feedback. So
Yeah, they had a little bit more striping to do as well, and they came back today. So Griffin was out there. So all of the striping is complete in Sunbury Meadows.
It looks really nice.
I'll tell you what, if it went wrong, you would know. I would know. Every one of us would know, for sure. So great job.
Is there a plan to do a follow-on survey out there? I know we started this with a survey of the residents in that area.
we did. I don't know. That's a great point. I hadn't thought about it, but we could do something like that.
Six Sigma.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
Thank you very much. Sorry, did you have anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right,
Good
great
evening.
update. Thank you very much. All right, we are on to resolutions and ordinances, but resolutions first, and there's quite a few. No third readings for resolutions. There are 3 resolutions that two second readings, excuse me. Resolution number 2024.18, a resolution appointing a member to the Board of Trustees to the Sunbury Meadows NCA pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 349.04. No action needed. Resolution 2024.19, a resolution approving engineering services with CT Consultants relating to the wastewater treatment plant expansion. Reading only. You have first reading resolution number 2024.20, a resolution approving consulting services with Baker Tilly Advisory Group LP relating to utility rates. Mr. Hennessy or Caitlin, did you want to give an update?
Yeah, so I'll start, and if we've got other questions, we can call Caitlin up. So we are asking for council consideration this evening on this resolution. We've talked a little bit about it, I think, our current rate structure for our wastewater utility. We've come to the end of the 5-year window in the last study period. So this is an updated study to look at our rate system to make sure that it's appropriately aligned with the cost of running a wastewater plant. But it also will look at the tap fees, determine if, again, if they are properly aligned for the expansion, the capital expansion projects that we have moving forward. So we went out through a competitive bid process. We did receive 4 proposals, which was fantastic. They ranged in price from $15,000 to, I think that's somewhere in the mid-50s. Baker Tilly proposed a $15,000 project. We did follow up with them just to make sure that they understood the project. I think we're pretty confident that they do understand the project, and obviously we've worked with Baker Tilly in the past. They can complete this study within the time frame that we had set, which is a very aggressive strategy, 45 days, so that we can get back in front of council before the end of the year to at least consider the results of the study itself. So all of that said, we would recommend if council is prepared to move forward with this so that we can get them started on the study.
Motion to suspend the rules.
A motion to suspend the rules, Mr. Martin.
Second.
You got a second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ayer,
Yes.
Mr. Keppel,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion on resolution 2024.20.
A motion by Mr. Martin,
Second.
second by Mr. Grumney. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper.
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Ayer,
Yes.
Mr. Keppel,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion passes. Resolution number 2024.21. This is also a first reading, a resolution awarding the contract for the Walnut Street Stabilization Project to Ironsight, Inc. Reading only, correct, Mr. Hennessy?
Correct.
Thank you. Resolution number 2024.22, a resolution authorizing the city administrator to partner with Berkshire Township and the Delaware County Engineer to prepare and submit an application to participate in the Ohio Public Works Commission State Capital Improvement Program and the Local Transportation Improvement Program in connection with the South 3Bs and a K Road Improvement Project, and to execute agreements as required. Any context on
Yeah, I
that?
was going to say, actually, probably should have mentioned this during the street discussion. So this is a reading only at this particular point. The Delaware County engineer is proposing an application to OPWC to mill and fill a portion of 3Bs and a K Road. A portion of that goes through the city of Sunbury. A very small portion of that goes through the city of Sunbury, and they're just asking if we would be willing to sign on as a partner. The match requirement for the city is less than $1,000 to basically get the city portion of that milled and filled. So the overall project is about $500,000. So we're a pretty modest player in it. But again, reading only tonight, we can talk more about it when we meet again. I'll talk about roads.
Sounds like a good deal. We're working with folks. That's great. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Ordinances, third reading. Ordinance number 2024.23, an ordinance approving the final plat for Eagle Creek subdivision phases 2 and 3 and declaring an emergency. Looking for a motion on the emergency.
Motion on the emergency.
Got a motion by Mr. Capel,
I'll second.
second by Mrs. Cooper. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarrett?
Yes.
6 yeas.
Motion on ordinance number 2024.23.
Got a motion by Mr. Capel.
Second.
Discussion, excuse me, second by Mrs. Cooper. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Ms. Jarrett?
Yes.
6 yeas.
Right. Ordinance passes. We're on to ordinance number 2024.24. An ordinance approving the application of DR Horton, Indiana LLC to rezone approximately 39.9 plus or minus acres of property owned by Romanelli Schrock Road Investments LLC, located south of US 36 State Route 37 and north of Cheshire Road from Planned Residence District to Planned Residence District with an amended development plan pursuant to the City of Sunbury zoning code. Looking for a motion on the ordinance.
Motion on ordinance 2024.24.
Got a motion by Mr. Grumney on the ordinance,
Second.
second by Mr. Capel. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Ms. Jarrett?
Abstain.
All right.
5 yeas.
Motion passes. All right, we're on to ordinance number 2024.26, an ordinance amending the City of Sunbury Comprehensive Plan to add the Sunbury Parkway Master Plan.
Make a motion on the ordinance 2024.26.
A motion by Mrs. Cooper, and I'll second. Discussion. Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mayor St. John?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Ms. Jarrett?
Yes.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
Yeas.
Right, we are on to. I'm sorry, I'm just making sure. Okay, second reading, ordinance number 2024.27. An ordinance accepting a petition for annexation of territory consisting of 6.4 plus or minus acres of land located in Berlin Township, Delaware County, and owned by Northport Place LLC and declaring an emergency. We have first reading ordinance number 2024.01.3, third amended, an ordinance amending the 2024 annual appropriations. Ordinance number 2024.28, an ordinance accepting petition for annexation of territory consisting of 60.836 plus or minus acres of land located in Berkshire Township, Delaware County, and owned by Lou Ann Medellin and Diamond Resources Corporation and Richard L. Medellin Enterprises, Inc. and Diamond Resources Corporation, and declaring an emergency. This is the first reading. Is there, I know they've got some timing requirements, Mr. Hennessy. I don't see anybody here.
Yeah, no, this is just a first reading.
Okay. Are they planning to attend at some point through the reading process?
Yeah, I'll make sure that they are
Okay.
in attendance.
All right, good deal. And the reason I bring it up is they're actively presenting in Planning and Zoning Commission. They've actually presented twice and are planning to come to, I believe, for a public hearing and a rezoning. So if we don't sync those things up, annexation and zoning, things can get out of sync. Thank you. Ordinance number 2024.29, an ordinance approving the application of SGB Fund 1 LLC to rezone approximately 298.39 plus or minus acres a property owned by Forrest J. Hale and Marilyn R. Hale and John E. Evans and Linda K. Evans located on Vance Valley Road from not zoned to limited industrial district pursuant to the City of Sunbury zoning code. You're on to new and unfinished business. Start with Christmas on the Square.
Yes, so the Chamber of Commerce is requesting some road closures, which the police are already aware of this, but they would like to close Burr Street around 5 p.m. This is where the parade lineup is. Then they would like to temporarily close Cherry, Vernon, Columbus, and Granville for the parade, and they'd like Granville to remain closed throughout the event. That's where their food trucks will be. That will probably likely, they'll probably start showing up around 2 p.m. So this is consistent with what they have asked every year. And I would like to make a motion for those road closures,
And I'd
please.
like to second it.
All right. We got a motion and a second. Mrs. Cooper on the motion, second by Mr. Martin. Discussion? Roll call.
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Air,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Looking forward to it. Cannot wait. And Murray has committed to double the Christmas lights. Is that true?
That's what I heard.
Okay. Good
He
deal.
gets his way.
Excellent job. Is the budget for Christmas lights as large as the street program?
It will be this year.
Yeah, this year. We're
Be careful what you ask for.
Murray's not here. All right, we're on to new and unfinished business, Mr. Air.
I do have one item. In March, our council was invited to the signing and renewal of the partnership between the City of Delaware, Delaware County, and Ohio Wesleyan University in support of the Delaware Entrepreneurial Center over at OWU, Ohio Wesleyan University. And I did go. I met the new president, met the mayor of Delaware. I met Philip Smith and a lot of the Ohio Wesleyan University students. These students, they've done a remarkable, what they've done is remarkable, in my opinion. On September 26th, we were also invited to the U.S. Entrepreneurial Competition, also over at Ohio Wesleyan University. And I did go. The prize is $100,000. And I did listen to these presentations. There were 10 presentations, 10 applicants. Out of 42, the students were awesome. Their presentations of their products or solutions that solved a problem that was relevant to our everyday life. They knew the what's, where, how. They knew everything about their product, and they were so enthused and passionate about what they were doing. It was really awesome to see. Like I said, the prize is $100,000. The winner will be announced this weekend at the Ohio State House. But I believe it might not be a bad idea really to start a little program like this at the high school, some type of entrepreneurial club. And maybe it could follow through to something like this where they work at college and form a team, identify a problem, identify a solution, and just really go after it. Young people are like sponges. And they just love it. And $100,000 is a pretty good boost to get a business going. And I believe Olentangy has something like this already in place. Like I said, I think Big Walnut would definitely benefit for something like this.
Good deal. All right. Sorry, I was going to recommend it go to the school board. And speak in their public section. I bet they would welcome you to speak about something like that. For sure. That's awesome.
Good deal.
Thank you, Mr. Air. Mr. Grumman?
Nothing else?
No. Mrs. Cooper?
Yes, I would like to talk about trick or treat. And since I waited until October 2nd, I would like some mayoral recognition for waiting so long. Because normally I bring it up in like March.
I think we already did this.
No, we have not talked about it.
You know, I just talked about it like, hey, we're doing it on October 31st, right?
So, October 31st, this year is on a Thursday. So I recommend that we do it October 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. We just haven't actually like officially said that yet, so I thought we should get that on. And I tagged the city of Sunbury, so Amber might have seen this, but I just thought it was so funny. Mount Vernon's Facebook page announced their trick or treat on July 5th. And made it funny, like that. Now that the 4th of July is over, we know what everyone is wondering is what is trick or treat. And I just thought it was hilarious,
Great.
but we haven't talked about it, so I thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, I second that.
Okay.
Real quick, caution on believing everything you hear. So I was listening to the radio and someone, it was on, I don't know, Instagram or something. They read where Halloween falls on Friday the 13th this year. And they believed it. And they're broadcasting all over the radio. And said, you do realize Halloween's the same date every year. It's, oh, man. So, yeah.
I saw that too and I thought, wait a minute.
Yeah, always think before you speak when it comes to reading something online.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I said, do we need an official motion on that?
So last year we didn't, the year before we did. So if you want to take official action, maybe.
We've got a
keep it
motion
in
in
the
a second,
habit.
so I
Yeah.
may as well just go.
Yes,
Let's vote it in.
let's do that.
Roll call.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Air,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
6 yeas.
Any other new or unfinished business?
Not tonight, thank you.
All right, Mr. Martin?
Early voting starts next Tuesday. Your last day to register to vote, if you're not registered already, is next Monday. Much to my dismay, even though you early vote, there's nothing you can do to your TV to stop the commercial. I've tried and tried and tried to convince somebody to be able to say, once you voted, you got a button you can push and those commercials all go away, but it doesn't work that way. But early voting starts next Tuesday at the vote center over in Delaware.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. All right, I have nothing further. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Mr. Capel. Discussion? Roll call.
Mayor St. John,
Yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Air,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas. We are adjourned.